We said at the beginning of this program that ecstasy is a nightmare for the government's drug controllers, and in part it is a nightmare of their own making. The government has been determined to stop the spread of ecstasy by making dramatic claims about brain damage that are exaggerated and unconvincing, and the ecstasy users we talk to are simply not listening. This year, if current trends continue, 1.8 million Americans will try ecstasy for the first time. Only marijuana will attract more first-timers. And the government's message is still, just say no.
Autopsy report, case number 00-.
The body is that of a well-developed, well-nourished adult Caucasian female.
The latest campaign against ecstasy is now focused on the tragic fact that people have died from taking the drug.
Cardial surfaces of the 280-gram heart.
But even a former director of the National Institute on Drug Abuse describes the risk of death as minimal.
Do you believe that pure ecstasy can cause people to die?
I think that there are some individuals who are especially vulnerable to this drug, and it will kill them. Are there a lot? I don't believe that there are a lot.
A New York medical examiner looked at the role that ecstasy played in unnatural and accidental deaths in New York City.
I reviewed all of the deaths that occurred about over a 3-year period that were reported to the medical examiner's office and underwent autopsy. That included about a total of 19,000 deaths. Of those 19,000 deaths, I found 22 had ecstasy in their system, and 2 of those died from ecstasy and ecstasy only. There are probably prescription medications that people die from more frequently than MDMA.
2 deaths during a period when, according to the DEA, New Yorkers used about 110 million doses of ecstasy. Ecstasy users know from their own experience that the risk of sudden death is minuscule. Overstating this risk is not going to stop them from taking the drug. But there are risks that many ecstasy users do understand. Ecstasy is a street drug. When ecstasy was made illegal, criminals got involved. And to maximize profits, dealers often mix ecstasy with cheaper, more dangerous substances.
We've seen all different kinds of fake ecstasy pills, pills that are made out of speed, pills laced with heroin, with PCP, with really anything imaginable. And it's a little pill, and it looks like a little pill, but it doesn't come out of a bottle that's sealed in a drugstore. There could be anything in that pill.
And no one can claim that even pure ecstasy is safe, especially when it is taken at places like a rave or a nightclub.
This drug does elevate body temperature, especially in an environment like a rave where there's a lot of people compacted in a small area and the temperatures are hot. The ecstasy interferes with the body's ability to adjust to surrounding temperature, and so you get hyperthermia.
This dangerous condition resulting from severe overheating and dehydration can usually be controlled with water and rest. But a small number of users do say they have become deeply dependent on the drug.
It's addicting. It's very addicting, because there's nothing that feels like that. Once you're off of it, you're depressed.
When I'm on ecstasy, I feel like, oh my God, I love this feeling. I never want it to leave me. So you just start taking more pills.
It's just a downward spiral. It may be good for the moment, but the after effects aren't worth it. They're not even close to worth it. It's your life, man. You know? Your life.
But the bottom line for many users is that ecstasy is not heroin, and it is not cocaine or crack cocaine. And many people simply believe that ecstasy, MDMA, is powerfully beneficial.
I've never heard anybody say to me, methamphetamine improved my life. I'm a better person for having used methamphetamine. Same thing with cocaine. I know people who like to use cocaine. Never heard anybody try to claim cocaine is good for me. MDMA, lots of people think that the drug improved their life and continue to think that after they've stopped using it. That's what's astonishing.
And uncertain science about brain damage promoted by the government simply cannot compete. But there is still one stark reality at the heart of the ecstasy story.
Basically, people using ecstasy now and in the past decade are acting as guinea pigs. nobody knows exactly what the long-term effects on the brain of using this drug for a prolonged period of time regularly are yet. And the effects, quite frankly, might be devastating.
Recent studies may be reassuring to users, but no one can rule out the possibility that the government will one day discover that MDMA, ecstasy, does in fact cause long-term brain damage. The question then, will anyone believe them?
Thank you for joining us. I'm Peter Jennings. Good night.